There's no tax breaks for them to come here of the current taxes. And the first thing that we look at them as when they cross the border is, let's tax them. Why don't you come to Pennsylvania so that we can tax you? And somehow that just does not make any sense to me. And I understand the ramifications of impact fees and what's happening to roads, and it eventually we'll have to deal with that. But one of the other things is that some people say, well, they're getting a free ride. Once again, that's just not the case. If you consider current taxes, sales tax, personal income tax, which they pay, fuel taxes, the impact, the estimated impact on the Pennsylvania economy this year in 2010 will be close to $1 billion. That's not a free ride. So what we want to do is we want to tax them more. I'm not sure that that's the right thing to do at this particular time. Plus, there's this feeling out there that if you have a severance tax, it's going to produce this tremendous pot of money immediately, which is just not true. A lot of these wells are not producing at this point because we don't have the infrastructure built yet to make them producing wells. They're not online. So what we're going to have is a situation where these estimates, I think, are pie in the sky. One of my other major objections to this, and this applies to my district in this rural area, every proposal that I've seen divvies it all up and sends the money somewhere else. And from my perspective, I want to keep as much money, if there is going to be a severance tax or an impact fee or whatever we're going to call this thing, I think that we need to keep it local. This is our asset, so to speak. It's our property owners that have this asset. It's our local elected officials and counties and the townships that have the impact. And darn it, it's our turn to take advantage of an asset. And for that reason, I haven't seen a severance tax proposal that warrants support for the local people that I think should have it.
Secretary Hanger.
Well, it's time for a good debate. And Senator Yard did a good job defending, I think, an indefensible position. He's a great attorney and a great legislator. The severance tax on this industry, in my view, should have happened already. This is not an infant industry. Exxon spending $31 billion to buy one Marcellus driller is the opposite of small industry or an infant industry. We've got money coming from around the world, and I think that's a wonderful thing. We've got billions of dollars of British money, Norwegian money, Japanese money coming in to Pennsylvania. We have an industry that in a very short period of time will be producing about 10% of the gas in the entire United States. This industry in a very short period of time is going to be at roughly 2 trillion cubic feet of gas. It is already producing not inconsequential amounts of gas. I would imagine we'll probably be somewhere between 10 and 15 amongst states in terms of total gas production this year. So there are many, many, many strong reasons to impose a severance tax. Probably one of the most compelling, though, of those many, many strong reasons is so many states that have gas production, of course, have a severance tax. And I'm talking about states like Alaska, states like Texas, states like Oklahoma, states like Louisiana. I can go on and on and on. Those states do get to the important question of the use of the money. And states have had different approaches to that. I mean, in Alaska, they actually tax their oil and gas companies and write a check to every Alaskan. That's one of the uses of their money. In Texas, they use it for a rainy day fund as well as to keep tuition at their public universities at a low level, often a lower level than here in Pennsylvania. I personally believe that a portion of the severance tax should come back to local communities. Let's also remember that the Marcellus is under 55 of Pennsylvania's 67 counties. It is across a lot of this state, or under a lot of this state. The uses also, in my view, should include some amount of money to deal with the inevitable environmental impact. It's just not the case that there is going to be zero environmental impact. Even if we do this the smart way and the right way, there is going to be some environmental impact. And I think some money to compensate the environment is a very necessary idea. At the end of the day, I can tell you, I've had private conversations with members of Katie's coalition, and they all often say, well, yeah, we know we pay a severance tax in Texas, we pay a severance tax in Oklahoma, and yeah, we expect to pay one here too. And a couple of those companies have publicly said that there should be a severance tax. So I'll end by simply saying that we believe this is a critical issue, that the severance tax needs to be reasonable. It should not be the highest in the country, and it should not be the lowest in the country. The governor has actually come forward with a suggestion that it be right in the middle of the pack. He's suggested, as a way of kicking off the debate, that Pennsylvania adopt the severance tax that West Virginia adopted, which is actually just about right in the middle of the pack. The thing to finally remember here is that the Marcellus gas reserve is a world-class gas reserve. It's exceptionally attractive. It's uniquely attractive. That is one of the reasons why we have a bullseye on us and money is coming from around the world. The costs to produce here are lower in many cases than some of the competitive areas. Chesapeake Energy stated to their shareholders in an SEC document, so I assume it's vetted and truthful, that they would make a 10% return on their investment if natural gas prices were at $2.80. Now, natural gas is at $4 today. Now, a 10% return is a pretty good return in and of itself. So these companies are doing very well, and that's a good thing. For me, the word profit is not a dirty word, it's not a bad word. I want these companies to be profitable, but they ought to pay a reasonable tax. They're doing it everywhere else, and it's past time, in my view, for Pennsylvania to impose a reasonable severance tax on this industry.